Okay, so fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, despising his shame, and is set down at the right hand of God and at the right hand of the throne of God. Okay, so if we dig into that verse, what we see from just off the surface is our example, who is Jesus. He does some things in this verse. So it's giving instruction. This verse is giving a set of instructions. The set of instructions is to fix our eyes on Jesus. Why? We're fixing our eyes on Jesus. What description does this verse give of who Jesus is? He's the author of our faith, the finisher of our faith. So he's our beginning, he's our end, and that's been our belief and our faith in him. So that's who we're fixing our eyes on. That's who we're having our focus in. So we have our focus in him, and we have our focus on him, and that's who it is. That's the description of him. Additionally, it says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, for the joy. Now it gives a description of what he did. So we're to focus on who he is and what he did. Fixing our eyes on who he is and what he did. What did he do? For the joy that was set before him, for the joy that was in front of him, he endured the cross. What is the cross symbolic for? Suffering, pain, something that he did not want to do, something that he was doing to obey his Father and to please his Father. So he endured that and all that came with the cross for the joy that was set before him. So here, joy is not something that you have in the moment. It's something that we're looking forward to. So I'm looking forward to something that God has promised me. So because I'm looking forward to that, I'm willing to endure what I'm currently experiencing. That's the example we have here. So for the joy that's set before him, we endure the cross. What is our cross? What does he tell us to do? How can we relate this to ourselves? We are to carry our cross. His cross was dying for the sins of all mankind, even those that he knew would reject him. Our cross is to obey the will of our Father. Our cross is to serve him. Our cross is to deal with whatever we have to deal with for the joy and the reward that's set before us. Now, what is the joy that's set before you? Well, we can talk about the joy that's set before Jesus. The joy that was set before Jesus is sitting down at the right hand of God, sitting down at the right hand of the throne of God. Just in this verse, that's one thing that is he's looking forward to. Just in this one verse, that's the one thing that he's looking and setting and hoping in. Right? That's something that's before him. So fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame. Some verses say despising its shame. Now he's letting us know what the cross was to him. It wasn't fun. It wasn't like he was having a blast. It had shame, and he despised what it brought with it. So the cross brought something with it, not just suffering. It brought shame. He scorned the shame. He despised the shame. Why? For the joy set before him. He didn't have fun with it. He expressed his true emotions. The true emotions of Jesus in reference to how he thought of the cross, how he saw the cross, was he despised it. He scored the shame of the cross. This is God. This is God. He's innocent. But if he's our example, for the joy that's set before us, we should endure whatever cross we're called to carry. We should endure whatever it is he calls us to do for the joy that's set before us. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, despising his shame, who is set down at the right hand of God, at the right hand of the throne of God. So now it gives us a glimpse of what the ending, what the outcome was. He despised the shame of the cross. He endured the cross, but now here's a picture of where he is now. So it's like a before and after. He is now set down at the right hand of God, at the right hand of the throne of God. He's sitting down. What does that remind us of? Sitting down reminds us of rest. Sitting down reminds us of being at peace. Sitting down reminds us of the fact that the work is done. A lot of times we can't sit down. In my job alone, we can't sit down until the work is completed. So completion is symbolic of sitting down. I finished my work. It is finished. That's what he said. So he sat down. Who is he sat down to? He sat down next to God, his Father, the one whom he did all of this for. Where are they sitting? On a throne. Royalty. On a throne. Majesty. On a throne. Where you are now being served after you have served. Hallelujah. For the joy set before you. That's what you're doing. For the joy that is set before you. For the joy that is set before you. So if we're looking at Jesus and he's our example, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do when we have a situation and there's no joy present. There's no joy in the moment when we despise the cross that we have to carry. The cross that we have to carry could be numerous of things, but suffering could be suffering because your needs aren't met as far as safety. Suffering could be because you need food for your kids. Suffering could be because everybody at church is married and you're single. Suffering could be you want to have kids, but you've been losing babies back to back to back. Suffering could be any numbers of things. You need a job, or you need a new job, or you need a better job. Suffering could be you've been waiting to start your ministry, but it seems like you don't have anything to get started with it, and now you're sad and you can barely get out of this depression. Suffering, enduring, he despised it, but now the work is finished and he's received. The verse gives us a before and after. He's received what he waited on. What he endured, he received. Hebrews 12, verses number 2.